Hey guys, it's Jessica here. Happy 500k! Woo! I honestly did not expect my channel to grow this fast. That is why this is so overwhelmingly happy for me. So thank you so much to you guys. It's all because of you that this is happening. As a content creator, I actually do face a lot of challenges and barriers in my YouTube life. Sometimes I feel like, can I even do this? Am I even allowed to do this? Do I even deserve this? Or sometimes I even ask myself, like, what am I even doing right here? However, many times when I get all those positive reactions from you guys about how much you love my videos, how much you love my channel, how much you subscribe to my channel, like 500k of you guys. This comes to me like a reward that all the struggles, all the doubts, questions that I had was indeed worthy. Anyways, in celebration of my 500k subscribers, I decided to do a Q&A, as I assume that there are a lot of newcomers on my channel and you guys might be like, who is Jessica? My name is Jessica and I'm 20 years old. Jessica, of course, is not my real name. It's like my nickname slash English name, which I had ever since I was like 8 years old. My real name is Isu. That's my Korean name. It's a pure Korean name. I am not a Filipino, but I grew up in the Philippines for around 9 years. So pretty much the Philippines is my second home. In fact, one of my family members is still there. My dog is still there. Aww. Let me start off with the most frequently asked question. When will I go back to the Philippines? That is my question too. I came back to Korea last March and all of my family members, including me, we thought that we could go back to the Philippines by June last year. It kept being postponed and we were like, okay, maybe we can go back in October or something. And in October, okay, maybe around December. And in December, okay, maybe around like early next year. And now early next year has passed. So my mom was saying maybe May or June. But I know quarantine season started again in the Philippines. Things are very risky right now to travel. And most importantly, I think now the Philippine government closed its borders again. So it was like open, closed, open, closed, open, closed. And now it's closed again for all foreigners. Yeah, I literally don't know when I will be going back. But I am hoping maybe within this year. Do you have any celebrity crush? Yes, I do. I have a bunch. 공유? I mean, I just recently watched Goblin. Among a lot of Korean YouTubers, I do have a favorite YouTuber. His name is 조승연 작가님. He mainly talks about history in his channel or anything that belongs in the field of studies of humanities. So it's super informative, at the same time very entertaining. Yeah, he would be my celebrity crush. He's like a celebrity writer in Korea. Would you ever date a Filipino? You know, I have no preference when it comes to the nationality of my future boyfriend. So if you ask, would you ever date a Filipino? Like, of course, I would. I would date any guy from any nationality or from any country. Do you see yourself learning or speaking Tagalog fluently? Yes, I would say. I've applied to 2 universities in the Philippines, as you guys all know. I don't know if I'm going to get in, but if I do, I will definitely have Filipino classes and I will dedicate my actual time and effort to it because I want to speak Tagalog fluently. A lot of you also asked me for an advice for those who don't know what to do in the future. Honestly, I am not in the position to give someone an advice. That would be so arrogant of me if I do. But for me, in my life, although I'm young, there were a lot of times where I was standing in the middle of the road, in the middle of diverged road, which means I had to make a choice. At those times, I would just tell myself, just follow your heart. Follow the path or do what it is that makes your heart beat. And of course, you might regret, but I go with the quote, everything happens for a reason. You won't be the you of today if you did not go through all those things, struggles, happiness that you've went through in your life. Anything that happens to your life is very valuable and is an art by itself. So yeah, that's I think all I could say. What was the turning point of your life that made you realize to give up being an idol and do YouTube instead? If you watched my debut stage reaction video after being on the stage, which was something that I was dreaming for years, I felt so empty. Again, it did not make my heart beat. then I asked myself, like, can I do this for 7 years, or for at least 7 years? Can I do this for the whole like near future that I'm envisioning in my life? I couldn't answer. That is why the turning point for me was listening to myself, listening to how I truly feel. Because sometimes, we lose track of our own conditions. Sometimes we don't even know how we feel. We just do everything so passively. And we may search for satisfaction, but that is not true happiness. That is not true joy. I was kind of asleep, I think. And there was this one moment where I realized I don't feel the kind of happiness deep down at the bottom of my heart. So I told myself, and that just became a turning point. What are the things that you don't really like about the Philippines? I really cannot get used to Filipino time. I am the type of person who really makes sure that I'm not late. And if I am late, I just sincerely apologize. Hey, I'm sorry. No excuses. There's no excuse when it comes to being late. Like it was traffic, oh, there was this guy. Those are all excuses for me. So yeah, Filipino time. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? I have no idea, but I might be living a life that's like totally different from now, or I could be doing what I'm doing right now, but with more responsibility. I don't know. What are you most and least excited about studying at a university in the Philippines? I don't know if I got in. Like, I don't know if I will get in. I might fail. Like, if I fail both of the schools, like... If I do get into one of them, I'm excited about the deeper connection that I'm going to have to the Philippines. Honestly, this is something that I've never talked about in my videos, but when people ask me, where do I feel home more, the Philippines or Korea? Because I would usually say, oh, I have two homes, the Philippines and Korea. But sometimes, there were times I thought that I don't feel home in the Philippines. I don't feel like I'm home in Korea. And that is because I've been going back and forth Korea and the Philippines so many times. So my Korean friends think of me as someone who's gonna go back to the Philippines eventually. My Filipino friends think that I'm a Korean, a foreigner, who's eventually gonna go back to Korea. And you know how when you're physically apart, you get apart even mentally as well. And I've experienced that so many times because I keep going back and forth. I don't even know how many times I did that. By going to a university in the Philippines, that is like me kind of putting my roots down to the Philippines, right? At least for the near future. And through that, I think I could feel more stable in my life. And the things that I'm least excited about would be something about convenience. Transpo, delivery, little things that are actually not so little. When it comes to safety, also, I do have some concerns, but those are all the things that I know already because I've lived in the Philippines. It's just something that I have to be aware of, then there wouldn't be any problem. What is the most memorable or your favorite video you've done so far? I would say growing up in the Philippines as a Korean, because that was pretty much a summary of my whole journey, my life journey in the Philippines, and I was so happy that many of you enjoyed it. Next is, what is something that you envy about the Philippines that you wish Korea had? It has to be the habit of smiling a lot. I'm not trying to generalize, but in my experience, a lot of Filipinos smile way more often than many Koreans do. We do not smile because we're happy. We're happy because we smile. Of course, like, this quote doesn't explain everything about the Philippines, but I think the reason why many Filipinos look happy and also why many Filipinos can say that they're happy when someone asks them if they're happy is because they themselves smile a lot. And that is just like a very happy energy. I do feel happy when I see people smiling and laughing and joking around. And Koreans, a lot of people, smile a lot too, but compared to the Filipinos, they're more like serious, which doesn't mean that it's bad. I mean, including myself, because I don't smile as often. Yeah, that is something that I want to learn as well. What kind of hobbies or things do you do other than YouTube? I love drawing and painting, but nowadays my days are more centered on YouTube. What else? What kind of hobbies do I have? Oh, I love cooking. I mean, it's not really a hobby. It's like you have to do it, but I enjoy cooking. So I think that could be my hobby. I go to the gym. Yes, I exercise. Next question, what is the biggest mistake that made you regret? Again, I go with the saying, everything happens for a reason. So unless it's like a small thing like, oh, I regret I should have drank milk this morning. Aside from those small things, when it comes to making big decisions of my life, I never regret it. Many people ask me if I do regret quitting my K-pop journey or even being in there. I don't regret. In fact, I'm so thankful. Without that experience, me of now wouldn't exist. Although there might be struggles that I'll be dealing in that very moment, what's very important is to let yourself feel, whether that's negative or positive, letting yourself feel all those dynamics of emotions. I think that has to be the definition of true healing. Although I know things can get really annoying and messy in your life, every time I face those, I would just tell myself, this too shall pass. Alright guys, so that was it for today's video. Again, thank you so much for your love and support. It always means a lot to me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments what kind of videos you want to watch in the future. I'll see you guys in my next video.